Thank you so much for attending tonight's program. I'm Laurie Milheiser, and I am the chair of the Montclair Community Action Committee, and I am very, very excited to welcome all of you here this evening. Will you please stand for the invocation, which will be given by Vicki Brobeck, the Montclair Police Chaplain, and then remain standing for the posting of our nation's colors by the Montclair High School Army Junior ROTC.
Forward. Mark. Nice work.
Almighty Father, whose command is over all and whose love never fails, make us aware of your presence and obedient to your will. Lord, we lift up the families and friends of those who gave their lives for our country. We ask that you minister to the deep longing of those who grieve. We ask you to bring your peace and supernatural comfort to each one as they recall their former happy times together. As we observe this day, we want to respectfully honor all the men and women who presently serve in our armed forces. May they feel appreciated. May they be powerfully protected this day and every day. Grant them wisdom from your mind, courage from your heart, and protection by your hand. For thine is the kingdom and the power and glory forever. Amen.
Forward. Mark. Mark that. Mark. Two. Hold. Wait. Pose. Present. Arms.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, led by the Vice Chairman of the Community Action Committee and retired Army Master Sergeant Arturo Padilla. The pledge will be followed by the singing of our national anthem by the barbershop quartet, the Dudes of Four Tunes.
Order. Arms.
Please put your right hand over your heart, and if you're in the uniform, salute by the numbers.
Pose.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Two.
Present. Arms.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of a bursting air gave proof through the night that our flag
Forward. March.
Beck, Montclair High School Army Junior ROTC, Arturo, and the Barbershop Quartet. On behalf of the City of Montclair and the Montclair Community Action Committee, let me welcome you once again to our 17th Annual Memorial Day of Remembrance program. As chair of the Montclair Community Action Committee, it has been an honor to help organize this year's program. At this time, I would like to introduce our mayor, Paul Eaton.
Well, good evening, everyone. The City of Montclair is extremely proud to sponsor our 17th annual Memorial Day program. Each year, the program has honored all veterans, and for the past 10 years, specifically honored deceased Montclair residents who have served our country. This evening, we have none of those, so thank God for that. Memorial Day is a day to remember the men and women who have served in the United States Armed Services and who have died serving our country. We live in a great nation that is willing to defend others as well as ourselves. We must continue to remember and honor those who have served our country and the sacrifices that they have all made that we may be free. So let us keep the lives of our armed forces personnel serving here and overseas in our minds and our hearts, keeping them safe until they return. This is a special day, a day of remembrance, and we must keep the meaning of Memorial Day alive. I'm sure we have many veterans in our audience, so I'm going to take a pause for a second and ask those who have served in our military, would you please stand? There we go, way to go. Well, thank you so much for your service to our country. At this time, I would like to introduce the council members who are present. We have Mayor Pro Tem Carolyn Raff, Councilmember John Dutray, Councilmember Bill Ruth, and Councilmember Trish Martinez. And I'm going to ask Mrs. Mayor Pro Tem Raff if she'd like to come up at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. I would like to take this time to thank each and every one of you for coming out and helping us to honor the men, women of the service that died for us, for our freedom. And you that are here that have served, we want to thank you as well. So enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also like to say thank you for all the veterans who've fought in foreign wars. I know we have World War II veterans here. I believe veterans from the Korean War, Vietnam War, the first action in the Gulf War, obviously the second action, the Gulf War with Iraq, and also in Afghanistan, and also veterans who have been in different parts of the world defending the United States of America. I also want to recognize one special person, actually two special persons in my life. But first of all, my wife, Ann Dutray, who is a veteran of the Iraqi War and retired from the United States Army. And I also want to recognize my son, who's not here. He's in Fort Polk, Louisiana, a member of the United States Army, and maybe deploy here soon either to Iraq or to South Korea. So with that, thank you for your sacrifices, and obviously thank you for the sacrifices for those who lost their lives.
Good evening and welcome. This afternoon is a solemn time where we have set aside an opportunity to honor those who have given so much for our country so that we can be here. From the very inception of our nation in 1776 all the way through today, their sacrifice is with us and contains in it the essence of who we are as Americans. I recall a poem that said, "Time is too slow for those who wait, too swift for those who fear, too long for those who grieve, too short for those who rejoice. But for those who love, time is eternity. And we who are the beneficiaries of their sacrifice continue that love for all eternity, because what they have done for us, their love for this country, will continue with us for all eternity." And so I thank every one of you who has given your time to be here. We honor those who gave their life. We continue to honor those who serve our country and defend, whether here at home or in Hudson Villages, half a globe away.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Mayor, City Council, and all of the employees that every year make this event so wonderful for all of us. I think I've been here probably 8 out of the 17 years, at least since I got elected to the State Assembly. Our great country would not be what it is today if not for the men and women who throughout our history have sacrificed for something much greater than themselves. Today we honor their sacrifice and their bravery. Service members of the 35th Congressional District have gone off to fight in many of the battles of the last century, and far too many of them did not make it back. The 35th Congressional District has lost 17 lives to the still ongoing conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan alone. I still remember that terrible day when in Pomona we lost our first son to the war in Iraq. And as a city council member, I was asked to provide the family some peace and some space from the media scrutiny. I saw up close that day the sacrifice our military members and their families make for our country and the values that we hold dear. Shortly after that, I remember attending a community meeting where an anxious father held out a newspaper article. He wanted news about his son who had just been deployed to Iraq. And he showed me that newspaper article and said, "Look, at least yesterday he was okay. Here he is." And his son was riding on a tank in the middle somewhere in Iraq. Those memories will stay with us, for the rest of our lives. Today, I want to thank not just those who have given so much and sacrificed so much, but the families that they have left behind, because we know that it is a shared sacrifice. This last week, I attended a ceremony for women in the military at Arlington Cemetery. It was wonderful to see the honor that we place and how much we cherish their service as well. So no longer today's military is about our sons, but remember our daughters that also serve abroad. Thank you, and thank you again, Mayor, for inviting me to share with you and to be a part of your family here.
All right, we also have with us this evening from Senator Connie Leva's office, Representative Maria Ares. Maria? She's here, there she is.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Maria Arias, and I'm here representing Senator Connie Leva's office. And I would like to take this time to present a certificate to the Montclair Community Action Committee. So on behalf of the California State Senate, I would like to commend the staff of the Montclair Community Action Committee for giving our community a forum of honor to honor our heroes and express appreciation for their sacrifice. Thank you.
All right, from County Supervisor Hagman's office, Representative Chad Schneeg. I can't get it right. Chad, come on out.
Just to let you guys know, it's Schnitger, which is not a big deal except for my wife, and many of you have heard this before, almost didn't marry me because of that last name. It took 5 years for her to decide, and at the last minute, she didn't want to file the paperwork, and I always would say to her, I'm sorry, Chelsea, I love you, you're beautiful, but I thought this was an upgrade. My wife's last name is Dingus, and I didn't think it was that bad. So, because I'm speaking off the cuff, I really wanted to take a quick moment on behalf of the supervisor to just honestly and sincerely thank not just those of you here who are participating, but I want to point out to something that has happened very recently in our community. Just 2 weeks ago in Ontario, all of your elected leaders and many of your community partners, nonprofits, job providers, came together in Ontario to participate in something we were calling the Veterans Appreciation Day, and also in partnership with the EDD, what ended up being the largest veterans job and service fair in the Inland Empire every year. We had over 400 veterans show up 2 weeks ago, and I'm sincerely inspired and humbled to see the community come together and just support the veterans in the way that I've seen them in the last couple weeks. And if you're a veteran present, you could not imagine, I couldn't imagine a better place for you to get the services and get the appreciation you've earned. So that's just off the cuff. But once again, my name is Chad Schnitger. I'm an aide to County Supervisor Kurt Hagman. Today, we're humbled to be a part of the Memorial Day service as we join together with all of your other elected leaders in remembering our friends, family, and neighbors that left to serve our country, and to those we're thinking that ultimately paid the highest price for our freedom. As a veteran himself, Supervisor Hagman joins us in remembering those who have fallen, and if in any way we can assist those who have come back, we will do everything within our power to do so. Thank you.
And from the City of Montclair, we have our City Manager Edward Starr, Deputy City Manager, Executive Director, Office of Economic Development, Marilyn Stacks, our Police Chief, Robert Abels, Director of Public Works, Mike Hudson, Director of Human Services, Marcia Richter. And there's two people in the audience that I'm going to say, Gary and Sue Ovitt, thank you for being here. They're both school board members, not the same district, but they're very busy with us, so thanks for being here, you all. Tonight's program.
At this point, it is my pleasure to introduce the rest of the Community Action Committee team. They're all standing back there, but they're there, so they're going to wave to you. Present this evening are Vice Chair Arturo Padilla, members Elizabeth Alba, Darlene Ferraro, Alex Hernandez, Chris Paez, and Diane Wells. It is our pleasure to put on this event for you. This is the high point of our year. I would also like to thank the members of the Montclair Walkers Choral Group that are here this evening, led by Director Jacqueline Roman. They're over here, and they are going to sing for us a few special patriotic songs. Our events. I'm now pleased to introduce Mr. Bill Benton, founder of the California World War I Centennial Advisory Council and also the co-director of the California World War I Centennial Task Force, who will help us commemorate the 100th anniversary of the United States entry into World War I. Mr. Benton?
A few years just after that song was written, in 1917, a couple of brothers, Walter and Elmer Seidner, joined the United States Army. They did so because their Congress had declared war. They were farm boys from Kansas, and they were sent off to Fort Riley to study and learn how to be soldiers. Shortly thereafter, they were sent off to France, and they both fought in the famous Battle of Bois de Belleau, or Belleau Wood. They stopped that juggernaut, that German juggernaut. Unfortunately, Elmer's fingers and arm both arms, were wounded. He actually lost half of a hand. Walter went on to fight in the Second Battle of the Marne, where his division, the 3rd Division, stopped the Germans from taking Paris. And Paris was so thankful that they gained the name Rock of the Marne. At the next battle of Meuse-Argonne, the Meuse-Argonne offensive, General Pershing's doughboys' dramatic advance on the Germans caught them off guard. But here, Walter was wounded. He was shot in the back and left for dead in no man's land. The Germans picked up his body. Basically, he was captured. They threw it on the dead wagon. And Walter came to, pushed off the bodies above him, crawled away, and spent 3 days crossing back across no man's land with a wound that was so large pieces of his chest were open, and he had to press it back into place. He was able to find a German dugout that had been abandoned. There he stayed and was gassed. The French found him, and he was sent back to a hospital. Both Walter and Elmer did survive, but the scars were forever. I know this because Walter was my grandfather. I saw the spidery marks that stretched across his chest. Elmer always enjoyed the shocked looks that he got when he stuck out his hand to shake it. And you took it, and there was just this mangled couple of fingers that you had a hold of, and he just grinned. We know that the war to end all wars was not. So what was it? It was where 52,947 Americans died in combat. Another 30,000 died of illness, like the Spanish flu. Where 202,628 Americans were wounded, like Walter and Elmer. The greatest killer was artillery. There was no hiding from the one with your name on it. I wish I could say that Walter and Elmer came home unaffected. Unfortunately, Elmer had trouble keeping jobs. Walter had trouble with relationships. Their cousin Jess, who was also gassed, eventually died from lung issues decades later. I would watch him in his chair, and he would go into a violent cough that would last sometimes for more than a minute. And then he would say simply, "Gas, you know." I never heard one word of complaint from any of these men. Their sacrifices were made for the sake of freedom. Freedom that we enjoy. And so Memorial Day, or what was then called Decoration Day, as it was called after the Civil War, was established as a day to remember and honor by decorating the graves of fallen comrades. And eventually, everyone got involved with the idea. Today, the mission statement of the California World War I Centennial Task Force is to commemorate the 100th anniversary of America's involvement in the Great War, and especially the sacrifices of Californians in it, and to educate people about the role California played in the war and how it changed California. For example, you may not know that Californians, Walt Disney, and film funny man Buster Keaton, and novelist Charles Nordhoff, and even General George S. Patton Jr. all served in World War I. But to those who did not return, we commemorate each year on this Memorial Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benton. In 2007, the Veterans Memorial Wall was dedicated with 12 plaques representing deceased Montclair residents who served our country in the armed forces. On Memorial Day from 2008 through today, 46 more plaques have been added to the wall. This year, there were no submissions for the Veterans Memorial Plaque Program, and therefore we will be foregoing the regular dedication ceremony. However, we still want to honor and recognize those 58 residents who served our country. The wall, as you can see, has a large bronze plaque which features 5 stars that represent each branch of the military, along with the words, "They defend us, now we honor them." Below the large plaque is a quote from General William Sherman that states, "War's legitimate object is more perfect peace." This wall continues to be the basis for Montclair's Memorial Day program, and tonight we will read the names of those honored on this wall, and a bell will toll in their memory. Montclair firefighter paramedic Justin Montoya will toll the bell for us, and at this time, CAC members Liz Alba and Darlene Ferraro will come forward to read the names on the memorial wall.
Ora D. Baker.
James W. Berg.
Timothy John Bissett.
Billy D. Bowman.
Richard Elwin Brown.
Benjamin Campos.
Carmel F. Casio.
Patrick P. Casio.
Joseph C. Dinolfo.
Alfred Frederick Dubler.
Jack E. Dunn.
William H. Ersman.
Benjamin Fajardo.
Herbert A. Fields.
Wayne R. Gallup.
Herbert C. Guestfield.
Norma R. Glore.
Anthony E. Gomez.
Faye G. Guston.
Ricky Robert Harris.
Robert P. Harris.
Louis H. Hartman.
James Donald Hartzell.
Carl R. Hidson.
Paul E. Huston.
Woodrow Johnson.
Betty O. Jones.
Lloyd A. Jones.
Warley C. Jones.
Dale R. Kearns.
Herschel Leon Kearns.
Richard Allen Cruz.
Edward J. Cusack.
Doris W. Leonard.
Maynard B. Lenhart.
Edward Ray Lumen.
Wyatt Loggins.
Harold Ray Mann.
John J. Mundry.
Paul Mundry.
B. R. Murphy.
Boyce J. Newton Jr.
Billy Allen Oldfield.
Paul Piazza.
Stephen William Robbins.
David Rojas.
William A. Rue.
Wayne O. Sloan.
Brett Allen Travis,
John Arthur Van Deventer.
Lloyd C. Van Deventer,
Juanita M. Vodka-Bar.
Bill Westwood Sr.,
Mary E. Williams.
Earl C. Williams,
John A. Wooten.
Lawrence C. Young,
Roy William Young.
Thank you, ladies. Next, the Barbershop Quartet, the Dudes of Four Tunes, coordinated by David Morketer, will sing a medley of the anthems of the branches of the service. If you are active or former military, please stand when your anthem is sung.
From the rising of the sun till the battle's fought and won, we will fight for the right and defend our country. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through surf and storm and howling gale, high shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our God, our pledge and motto too. We're always ready, do or die. High Coast Guard, we fight for you. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we will fight our country's battle in the air, on land and sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor clean. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines. Anchors aweigh, my boys, anchors aweigh. Farewell to college joys, we sail at break of day. To our last night ashore, drink to the foe. And till we meet once more, here's wishing you a happy boys home. First to fight for the flag and the United States of flag, and the army was rolling along, and the army goes rolling along, and it's high, high, hey, our United States, down on the tin proud and strong. For wherever we go, you always know that the army goes rolling along. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come to beat our thunder. Adam boys, give her the gun, give her the gun. Down we dive, spotting our flame from under. Off with one hell of a roar, a roar. We live in fame or go down in flames. Hey, nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. And those are the great armed forces of America. It's America, America.
Thank you, gentlemen, or dudes. We'd now like to turn your attention to the remembrance wall behind me. This wall currently honors 19 Montclair individuals who were killed in action during the Vietnam War and one who was killed in action during the Iraq War. Above the individual nameplates is a large eternal flame and the quote, "Let this flame serve as an everlasting memorial for those men and secure in our minds the weight of their sacrifice." As each name is read by Community Action Committee members Alex Hernandez and Diane Wells, a bell will again toll in their memory.
Charles James Beavis.
Stephen W. Bowman.
Bruce W. Collins.
Johnny L. Daniel.
Amity G. Burnell Jr.
Ernest J. Halverson.
Jerome R. Hart.
James R. Hottenroth.
Robert Kanitsky.
Robert W. King.
Donald L. Kipp.
William F. Lease.
Alex Oseguera.
Thomas H. Peterman.
Ronald P. Petrick.
Frank D. Pina.
Laverne L. Saltzman.
Richard R. Tollett.
Timothy P. Weaver.
At this time, I would like to ask Mayor Eaton to come forward and accept the wreath for the Veterans Memorial and Remembrance Wall.
As is our tradition, each year we have a poem or an inspiration that will be read. Tonight, a copy of it is included in your program so that you may read silently. And it is Canada, and he died in January 1918 during the Great War. Lieutenant Colonel McCrae enlisted as a surgeon during the Great War, or what we now know today as the First World War. He served with the artillery when needed. Lieutenant Colonel McCrae wrote this poem in the spring of 1915 after spending 17 days treating injured men from the battlefield. He said he wished he could put on paper some of the sensations of those 17 days, and it is said that this poem was an exact description of the scene in front of him. Shortly after it was published in English, it was published in Latin as in Agro Belgico. Today, we know that poem as In Flanders Field.
In Flanders fields, the poppies grow. Between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, so bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below.
We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, fell dawn, saw sunset glow. loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Field.
Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
We've now come to the conclusion of a Memorial Day program. Before the Montclair High School Army Junior ROTC lowers the flag of our great nation, I would like to thank you for your attendance. A special thanks to all of you, and especially our veterans who came to our ceremony this evening. Please take time to view the military display courtesy of Mr. Bill Benton and one of our after-school program coordinators, John Seo. He and his students at Moreno Elementary School created a display honoring military heroes, and that will be over in the Senior Center right after we conclude our program. I'd like to thank Chaplain Vicki Brobeck, Montclair High School Army Junior ROTC and their Army instructor Sergeant Lambert, Montclair Fire Department, Information Technology Division, Public Works Department, the Montclair Walkers Choral Group, the Dudes of Four Tunes Barbershop Quartet, and all of those who were a part of tonight's program. We ask you to please stand for the flag lowering, followed by refreshments, including barbecued hot dogs over in the Senior Center. In closing, the Community Action Committee would like to share a short, oops, wait a minute, gotta do that first.
Forward. March. March time. March. Group. Halt. Left. Face. Ho. Present. Arms. Close. Left. Face. Forward. March.
In closing this evening, the Community Action Committee would like to share a short poem called On This Memorial Day by Emily Toma. Remember those who served before.
Remember those who serve today. Remember them all on Memorial Day.
Remember them all on Memorial Day. Thank you for coming. Please join us for refreshments over in the Senior Center.